Hello! Before we begin, yes, I know Draw My Lives are outdated and kinda weird nowadays, but I figured it'll be something cheap and fun to do as your 1 year present. A sort of draw our 1 year relationship so far thing. I don't know, I'm poor, so this is what I had to settle with that my uncreative mind could think of. I'm actually writing this script right now with the hopes that I could actually manage to edit and draw according to plan. So if it's complete trash, baby, I'm sorry. Just know that I really tried with my limited collection of red, pink, and black markers. Anyways, let's get to the point of the video. This is your 1 year present that I'm really hoping I can pull off and you like. And I'm titling it our 1 year together recap draw our relationship video. Yeah, I know it's kind of a shitty title, but oh well. So with the whole introduction that kind of seems dragged out now that I'm reading it, let's start at the beginning of our relationship. To do that, we need to go all the way back to the first grade, where I was a stud and you were a really shy girl with pink streaks in your hair. Excuse me if my memory's dodgy, but how I remember it, we started off as friends due to our dads being friends as well. However, when it came to school, I was more focused on other people, and unknowingly, until you recently told me, you had a huge crush on me. So naturally, you asked me out. Little old me, of course, said yes, but we didn't even know what a relationship was at the time. To us, it was kisses on the cheek and the title of being in a relationship. We never talked or did couple things because, of course, we were kids in the first grade, not even knowing what we were doing. But after a couple weeks of you pointing at your cheeks in the middle of gym class, hinting that you wanted to kiss, and us not even talking despite being in a relationship, I stupidly decided to go after another girl, and I broke up with you. I'm still kind of sorry about that. But nowadays you tell me it broke your heart back then, and you used to wish upon a shooting star for me. However, we went the rest of elementary barely talking, and us moving into our separate friend groups. So that was a pretty rough start, but you know, it gets even better. After you moved away to Florida in 4th grade, it would be a while until we actually talked again. Actually about 6 years. Going into 10th grade, I visited Puerto Rico after moving to New Jersey, and what do you know? It happened to be the same year you were moving to Puerto Rico. As I was hanging out with my friends, I decided, out of nowhere really, to take a look at your Instagram. My first immediate thought was, wow, this isn't the girl with pink streaks I knew from elementary. You got hot. Like caliente. So naturally, I sent you a fancy little DM saying something like, hey, I just saw you're in Puerto Rico. I'm here too, and we should totally hang out. And the iconic line we both remember nowadays. And by the way, you've gotten really hot over the years. That's totally out of my character, by the way. But whatever. Anyways, after that, we started texting each other just about every day. And we were both kind of into each other. So, we were both kind of excited and nervous when we found out one day we were going to the same water park. We made plans to hang out all day and get to know each other better in person. However, we both know how that ended up. Due to both of our awkwardnesses, you spent the whole day hanging out with my sister, and I was hanging out with my friend. It wasn't until it came time to say goodbye that we finally saw each other face to face. You said bye to everyone with hugs and enthusiasm, and you're like, oh my god, bye! And when it came to me, we gave each other an awkward wave goodbye. So, things kind of went downhill from there. We didn't text as much, and I was going to New Jersey. We drifted apart. Then a blessing in disguise happened. My mom told me we were moving to Puerto Rico. for good. Of course, I was kind of devastated at the time since it meant leaving all my friends I had grown to love. But when I got to Puerto Rico, I tried to fit in with all my elementary friends I once had, but it wasn't the same. I was shy and awkward, not myself, and we also tried to become friends, but it was always awkward, since me, personally, I didn't know where we stood because of last year, and I was still pretty sad about moving. So after school started, Hurricane Irma and Maria were on their way towards Puerto Rico. I didn't think much about it at the time, but this was going to be a very drastic moment of my life. The whole island was destroyed, and as a result, my dad told me and my sister that we were going to move to Florida for the time being, until things got better in Puerto Rico. I was excited because I was always bored after a hurricane hit, because, there was no signal or anything. But it wasn't until my dad told me you were going there too that I really, really got excited. I decided that I was going to try and impress you and convince you to be my girlfriend before I even got there. So when I got there, I saw you for the first time in that hotel we were staying together at in Weston. I told myself, don't be awkward. And it didn't work, by the way. But I gave you a huge hug and said hi, and we started hanging out every day after that. What started off as a mere crush because of your looks turned into something more. As we continued to hang out every day, I was getting to know you better, and we started opening up to each other. I absolutely loved who I was getting to know. So therefore, about 2 weeks into hanging out every day, I asked you the first of many times if we could go out. Well, you said maybe. I'll think about it. And my oblivious self took that really, really literally, so I was kind of happy. I was texting all my friends saying, oh, this girl's so into me, she's gonna be my girlfriend, it's only a matter of time. But, of course, we both know how this ended up. I brought it up again, and you properly said no this time. I tried not to seem sad about it, but I was. I had a really big crush on you. But that wasn't the only time I would ask you out. There was another guy at the hotel who shall not be named because I hate him, and he would try to get with you too. And he appeared to have a much better chance than I did. But thankfully, it never happened, as he was trying to sneak in kisses and trying to be alone with you. I, being my really annoying self, intruded and pulled you aside. There I confessed that I still had a huge crush on you, even though I lied before saying I was over you. Well, after that, you completely friend-zoned me, saying you see me as a best friend and a brother, and that really got to me. I was a sad little guy, and the rest of Florida went by slowly as I would hang out with you every day, with this huge crush just hanging on my shoulders, never letting go. Well, my crush kind of translated to Puerto Rico, and soon we were back in school, and I was back to being awkward to everyone and not myself, except you. I felt the most comfortable around you despite still being sad about the whole friend zone thing. I felt like no one else understood my true self except for you. That didn't help with my huge crush situation. We spent the whole year of 11th grade as best friends. Even though I always wanted more than that, I was very, very, very into you. I watched you dance with other people at parties, try other relationships, talk about other guys, and no matter how much I told myself to get over you, I just couldn't. 'Cause every day I'd walk into school and be myself around you and laugh and genuinely have a good time. And you would do the same, so I constantly thought we were perfect for each other. I even asked you out again at my dad's wedding, saying how I never got over you, and my feelings are just getting stronger, and how I promised we'd make a beautiful couple. However, there was no budge. I was still that best friend to you, and you were still that perfect girl to me. My crush on you stopped for a second that year when I was talking to another girl, and I decided maybe we'd never be together. I always had you in the back of my mind while I was talking to her. So when things ended between us, and there was a day before prom, I went up to you right before school ended and just said the prom pose that I had been thinking about for so long verbally to you. No poster or anything. I just let it all out there. And for some reason, which I now know is because you were jealous and were starting to like me, you said yes. I was so relieved, and we went as best friends still. But occasionally that night, as you were texting your friend, I kind of snooped over on your phone and saw you were talking about me to your friend about how you kind of like me, but don't know what to do about it. I tried not to show it, but I was very, 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 very happy. Not sorry for snooping at your phone, by the way. But the rest of the night went smoothly as we danced together and had a great time. And we unfortunately didn't win prom prince and princess, but that would come back again another time. So a couple weeks after a successful prom night, you admitted your feelings for me. And I was really freaking out. So happy that this girl I was so into liked me. So we started texting more, admitting our feelings and kind of flirting with each other. And 4th of July, we hung out at the pool and felt more like a couple ever than before. Things were going great. But then one day in the middle of summer, we got into a huge argument. And that argument set back all the progress we'd ever gotten. And it put us in a worse situation than even before. We didn't talk for months after that argument, and during that time, you decided to move on and start talking with this other guy. But I came back from vacation from New Jersey, and we started talking again as friends. We wanted to hang out and put what happened behind us. I missed you, and you missed me. And we knew we had to make things right and become friends again. So 12th grade started, and we were sort of back to normal, hanging out a lot and laughing in school. But old habits die hard, and that crush I was hoping was long gone came back, and as strong as ever. But I felt different this time. I'd gotten a haircut and became a better person and started focusing more on myself. I felt more comfortable and confident and better in general around you. So I approached you with a different tactic. I asked you out on a date. This time I got a new response though. You were awkward and nervous about it and asked me if you could text me about it later. I sadly agreed, knowing that this would end in you saying no. But to my surprise, it was for a different reason this time. You told me someone else already asked you on that same date 10 minutes before I did. And you already said yes, even though you really didn't want to. You told me you kind of had feelings for this guy, but I was always in the way of your feelings, so you didn't know how to feel. So I had to wait. I had to wait to see where you guys were going. And after that, you wanted to wait a while before you got into a new relationship. So that's exactly what I did. I waited, all the while texting you about how much I wanted to be with you, and you would do the same. We were really getting into each other, genuinely. You started to like me a lot, my feelings grew, and after a long wait, on October 24th, 2018, you told me you were ready for us to be in a relationship, and we've been a couple ever since. Our official relationship started off good. I was still kind of awkward, being as this was my first ever proper relationship, and we were so used to being best friends. But eventually we grew more and more comfortable as a couple, and it became obvious we were meant for each other. Before we knew it, months and months were going by that we were together, and we celebrated each one. I fell in love with you, much sooner than you did. You were everything I ever wanted. And how I imagined our relationship would be for that whole year we were friends, it turned out even better. You were just so perfect for me, and I felt so happy around you, and we hung out every day, so happy that we finally ended up together. You eventually ended up falling in love with me too, and now we complete each other. As cliche as that is, we decided to audition for the school play, The Greatest Showman, together, and we both got the parts we wanted. We practiced every day and we were excited for the show. It brought us together as a couple, and I look back at those times with happiness, and I feel glad things went the way they did. However, that's not why I'm bringing this up. When the day our official show came, I decided to propose to you, on stage in front of the whole audience during the credits. I did it, and the crowd went crazy. Everyone was screaming and congratulating us, and I didn't even get a chance to read to you what my poster said. Both of our families were there, and you kissed me on stage, and it was recorded, and it was really just a perfect night. So eventually prom came. This year we matched and looked more like a couple than ever. We danced together and had a good time, even though I sucked at dancing, and you'll never be able to change that. But then the peak of the night came, the time to announce prom king and queen. We had lots of tough competition, including last year's winners, so we were really nervous. But when it came time to announce the winners, a smile instantly came onto both of our faces as we got the loudest applause and we were told to come up and get our crowns as prom king and queen. We were the happiest we could be. We spent the rest of the summer we had together in a routine, hanging out every day and enjoying our last moments before you had to go over to Florida for college. By then, we already established our plans to stay together after high school. We weren't planning on breaking up at all. It was everything I ever wished for. But after months of being together, it was time to say our goodbyes as I dropped you off at the airport to leave for college. I'll be the first to admit it. It was the first time I cried like that in years. I bawled my eyes out the whole way home, and you did too on the plane. We were sad, but still happy we were together, and we knew we were going to get through it. It was going to be really hard and sad, but you had to come home. And it was for a reason no one was hoping for. You'd gotten the news about your mom, and everyone was devastated, especially you. But I wanted to be there with you every step of the way. So I was. I was there when you needed to cry, talk, laugh, kiss, whatever. I was going to be there through it all, because I loved you more than anything at that point, and always will. You were my everything. By the time the funeral came, I made the long trips with you and slept at your grandparents' house. I was there when you needed me and never left your side. I promised I never would. The reason I bring this part of our relationship up and kind of bring down the mood is because I know it brought us closer together. Despite already being so close, I know it made us fall more in love. And I know it was important to us as a couple and will forever be a drastic moment in our lives. And I know your mom's looking down on us happily as we continue to be the couple she always believed in and loved since the start of Florida. And now we're in the middle of doing long distance, with little visits here and there. It sucks, but it's all I could ever ask for. Just to be with you. That makes it all worth it. And knowing what's lying ahead gets me so excited for the future. The future will be unpredictable and we don't know what's going to happen with our careers, but one thing's for sure. We're in it for the long run. And all this distance will eventually be worth it when we could settle down. So that's it. Happy 1 year to the love of my entire life. I'm so happy with you and I hope this turned out good and you like your present. It's been a beautiful 1 year with you, and I really, really can't wait to see what comes in the future. Thank you for being you. Genuinely. I love you so much.